Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for joining me here. And as you guys already know, as you guys have already been made aware of, the wrestling world did lose one of its so overwhelmingly beloved brothers in Jamin Pug, a.k.a. Jay Briscoe. And if you did not see what me and Earl had to say regarding Jay Briscoe and his sudden and unfortunate passing, we did a little preliminary speech before we got into our Dynamite review on the wrestling experience this past Thursday. If you want to go and check that out, please go and check that out. I do believe the link is indeed in the description, so please go check that out if you have not gotten the chance. I just want to say a few things before we actually get started here and we go into what we're going to get into, and we do have a lot of material to get into. Jamin Pug, better known to the wrestling world as Jay Briscoe, passed away tragically in an automobile accident because of some stupid idiot. No, don't know if she was drunk or not, but some idiot swerved into his lane, and it was a head-on collision. His daughters were in the car with him. Thankfully, thank God, his daughters are starting to progress fairly decently, and they regained feeling in their lower extremities, according to the reports going around social media. So thank God they are doing well. I said it on Thursday, and I'm going to say it here again. When stuff like this happens, it is just a cruel reminder that nothing is ever promised. Nothing is ever a guarantee. At any given moment, all of this, everything around us could just go black. Everything could just end for all of us within snap of fingers. And I think that when a scenario around like this always comes around, when someone passes away so young, 38 years old. 38 is not old. 38 is not old at all. Some would even say your life's just getting started at 38 years old. It is a guarantee that nothing is guaranteed. A guarantee that nothing is guaranteed. And stuff like that, it's just a cruel reminder of that unfortunate reality that we live in which something so simple as just driving your daughters to a dance practice, driving your daughters to a dance rehearsal, or stepping outside your house, going to work, getting up in the morning and driving on the highway, or just walking down the street, going to a fucking restaurant to get a burger. Something so simple like that can also be so dangerous. And we don't realize how dangerous it can be just because it doesn't happen to us. But I do believe that scenarios like this, it should be a reminder to us that we should go into every single day feeling privileged, feeling blessed that we've been able to wake up another day, see another sunrise, see another sunset, as Earl Cole said on Thursday. And we should be grateful that whatever deity that is out there has given us the opportunity to live another day and to experience what we are experiencing, to see family, friends, associates, acquaintances, to be able to sit down and relax and, just pet a dog, pet a cat, watch television, watch a football game, watch a baseball game, watch professional wrestling. My thoughts, my prayers, my condolences go out to everyone that was deeply affected by the tragedy of Jay Briscoe's passing, and I do hope that his family does find the strength to make it through this difficult time. I cannot imagine what his wife is going through, what his children are going through, what his own brother is going through. And this week in wrestling, he was given the proper send-off by many of the individuals in the wrestling community, like Michael Cole, like a Bandito and a Bryan Danielson, came out wearing the Jay Briscoe armbands. That was a very nice touch. And it is a wonderful thing to see all of the wrestling community coming together and paying their respects to an individual that had such an influential impact on the professional wrestling world as a whole. I did not know Jay Briscoe personally, but I heard so many stories about how nice of an individual he was and how he deeply cared for his family and his friends, the people that he cared for. He always put family first. And that right there is something to be respected. And I really do hope that everyone finds the strength to get through this difficult time. Thoughts and prayers go out to everyone, especially the family of Jay Briscoe. We are going to get into what we're going to get into, regardless of whatever tragedy that took place. It does not change the fact that it is indeed Saturday, and you know what that means. We are indeed live. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, January 21st, 2023. And we got some news and rumors to dissect. We're going to go over 2 weekly shows. Yes, you heard me correctly. I only said 2. We're going to go over Raw, and we're going to go over Rampage. Me and Earl went over AEW Dynamite on Thursday. So again, if you missed that, please go out of your way to watch that. The link is in the description. I greatly appreciate Earl coming back on my channel for the rundown for NXT Vengeance Day. That's going to be on February 2nd, Thursday, and I greatly appreciate Earl having me back on his channel and his show as well. It is always a great time collaborating with Earl Cole, and Earl Cole is one of the best individuals, maybe the best that I've met in the entire wrestling community. The guy has a heart of gold. The guy has a real knack for professional wrestling, and I do believe that he one day is going to make it big in the podcast game. He's very good at what he does. Next Thursday at 8 p.m., it's going to be me, and it is going to be Mitch Kofsky. That is right. Me and Mitch Kofsky will be going live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is going to be the rundown for WWE Royal Rumble 2023, so shout out to Mitch Kofsky. He will be joining me once again for the rundown, and I greatly appreciate having him as a friend, a companion, and an individual that I can collaborate with. But for those of you wondering why I'm not covering SmackDown, I was actually at the first ever Independent Superstars of Professional Wrestling event, the first ever ISPW event of 2023, that being Winter Warfare. And I have to say, Mr. Tommy Fierro, shout out to him if he's watching. Tommy Fierro is really outdoing himself. I thought that the Christmas Chaos event was great, but Winter Warfare, they came out of the gates hot. It was a packed crowd. Had to be at least 200 people. Had to be at least 200 people. They packed West Milford. They packed it, and it was a fantastic event from start to finish. It was excellent. Absolutely excellent. We had some fantastic wrestling matches. Rick Recon, my man Rick Recon, he got a victory over Enzo Amore. We have a new ISPW Women's World Champion in Tina San Antonio. Bull James retained the ISPW World Championship as well. Michael Mars retained the ISPW Tri-State Championship against Hale Collins. And Crowbar, once again proving to everyone why he is one of the best professional wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. Crowbar took on Encore Moore in what was the match of the night by far. Excellent match right there with Crowbar and Encore Moore. Very much impressed with them, and I'm very much impressed with one man by the name of Eric Corvus. If you saw my picture from last night, Eric Corvus is an absolute beast. He just gets it. He gets pro wrestling. He's entertaining. He's a phenomenal worker, and he's gotten himself into really good shape. I don't know what he does with his ring conditioning, but he is doing some great shit. He really is doing some great shit. So shout out to Eric Corvus. My vlog video for ISPW Winter Warfare will be up on Tuesday. I think I'm going to post that around, I don't know, maybe 7:45-ish. Probably post that around 7:45-ish, but that will go out on Tuesday. Next week's going to be a busy brand week as well. We got the ISPW vlog. We got the rundown. We got the Lightning Flash update next Saturday as well before the Royal Rumble. The brand is booming. The brand is booming. So I'm glad that you guys are along for the ride because the brand is as hot as it's ever been. Also, if you guys haven't already done so, please make sure that you follow me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS. That is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on Twitter and Instagram. Please follow me on Facebook as well. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. All those links are in the description, so go and check those out right now. We are almost 12 minutes into the stream, and we got a hot crowd. Hot crowd, just like the ISPW event last night. Hot fucking crowd. 15 people watching so far. We got Earl. We got my girl Dee Dee. We got Philly Sports Talk Podcast. We got my man Hula Grim. Hoping to have him back on the channel sooner rather than later. We also got the Final Hoss. We got Sleeping Angels. We got Dylan. We got my girl Jalitza. We got Lady Kenzie. We got Paul, a.k.a. The Shooter. So we got a hot crowd today. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, that you like the stream. We're streaming live on 5 different accounts, 4 different platforms. My Twitter, Hardcore Sports YouTube, Hardcore Sports Twitch, my YouTube channel, and the DJ Storms Posse Facebook group as well. We also got Lisa Marie Percival, a.k.a. London Lisa Barrett, the mark that she is for Wade Barrett. She decided to stop by because, well, let me tell you something. The ladies love DJ Storms. The ladies fucking love me. The ladies can't get enough of DJ Storms. Let me make that perfectly clear. Let me make that perfectly clear. The ladies go nuts for DJ Storms. But I hope you guys are having a good weekend so far. Next week, as I said, it's going to be a busy week. You are not going to want to miss it. Please, if you haven't already done so, share the stream out on all platforms, social media. I'm talking about Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Share it out because we want to get as many people in here. Your mother, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your skank girlfriend who I was sleeping with last night. Sorry, I'm kidding. Or am I? Or am I? Please make sure you share out the stream. Get as many people in here as humanly possible because we got a loaded show, even though it may be a little bit of a quick show today because, again, I am only reviewing 2 shows. It is going to be a fun time. And it seems as though every single week is a dark week in professional wrestling in 2023. I got more Vince McMahon news, and wait till you hear what happened this week. Every single week, I got a new piece, several new pieces of news articles that's coming out about Vince McMahon. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. But please make sure you share out the streams on all platforms, social media. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you're watching on my channel or the Hardcore Sports channel. Check out all the Hardcore Sports links down below. Of course, subscribe and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Jalitza, this is going to be your first time experiencing the greatness of this intro. Why is it the best time to be on YouTube? Because you get to see me. It's the only time that you will get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah, and Earl Cole's here to see it. It's the magic black comb. We're going to light it up right here on a Saturday with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like hot, fresh pizza pie, that's amore. Just like a nice, hot, fresh plate of zesty barbecue chicken wings. Just like nice, hot, zesty steak waffle fries. Oh, I'm just so good. I'm the tastiest snack in the IWC. Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill. Listen, let me just get my hair up to code. Look at that. Look at how great my fucking hair is. It is ridiculous. If I was to win an award, it would be the award for best fucking hair in the IWC. Best fucking hair. Anyway, we're going to get into the festivities here, and I do have news on John Cena. John Cena, and I know Dee Dee's probably marking out. Fightful discussed John Cena and his potential plans for WrestleMania 39. It was noted that loose plans, quote unquote, were internally discussed for John Cena versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania, which I would not mind whatsoever because Logan Paul is actually a fantastic professional wrestler. However, Austin Theory recently said last week on Raw, "The champ is here," which is the famous catchphrase that Cena used throughout the course of his career. Now, could that mean something? Maybe. Could it happen at WrestleMania? Maybe. I don't know. To be quite honest with you, I wouldn't really know where Theory would fit into WrestleMania if Cena does indeed go and face Logan Paul. The only thing that I can honestly see Theory doing is potentially going off and fighting in a multi-man ladder match. Because if Money in the Bank is not going to be on WrestleMania, then a multi-man ladder match for the United States Championship would very well be serviceable. That would be more than serviceable for the show of shows. And I would not mind a multi-man ladder match for the United States Championship because the United States Championship would feel important. It would feel coveted. So I would not mind that whatsoever. Now, it's a toss-up. It really is a toss-up. Now, me personally, I would prefer Austin Theory. I would prefer Austin Theory simply because of the fact that it would give Austin Theory a little bit of an extra rub. See, Logan Paul is already a made individual. He's a social media megastar, and he's merely there to help bring a bigger audience to WWE. He's merely there as a special attraction. If Logan Paul fights John Cena, then it's just two established guys going at it, and we're just here along for the match. But with Austin Theory and John Cena, it would actually be a little better because Theory would actually get the rub from Cena, and him getting a victory over Cena would go off, and it would come off better. It would transfer some more star power and some more credibility on Austin Theory's behalf. He already's gotten a victory over Seth Rollins. I don't expect him to lose to Bobby Lashley. He's going to beat Bobby Lashley. And then, if he goes into WrestleMania, he fights John Cena for the United States Championship, that's going to make Theory look good and the United States Championship look good. And whoever beats Theory is going to be better off for it. So I would absolutely have John Cena and Austin Theory for the United States title with Theory winning. Now, if Cena fights Logan Paul, I'm not really going to complain. If we get a multi-man ladder match with Theory and whoever, I'm not really going to complain. It should be interesting, but at the same point in time, I'm just thinking in terms of building the future and building new stars. That's just me. But that's what's going on with John Cena and his potential WrestleMania plans. Dave Meltzer, he talked about the Usos and their original plans for 2022 and beyond. It was noted that they were never supposed to win the Raw Tag Team titles, and the Tag Team titles were never supposed to be unified. This is obviously going hand in hand with the thing that's going around in WWE right now where the Judgment Day is fighting for the Raw Tag Team titles, and then we're having a #1 contenders tournament for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. This goes hand in hand with that. So people were wondering, well, why are they all of a sudden splitting the belts back up? I don't know, but apparently Dave Meltzer is saying that the tag team titles were never supposed to be unified. The only reason why the Usos won it, and the only reason why the Usos unified the belts, was because Randy Orton's career was on the verge of ending, and they needed to get the titles off of him and Riddle. This obviously is concerning the severe back injury that Orton has had. He has been out of action for 9 months now, and he could very well miss WrestleMania when it's all said and done. There is no timetable for his return, and this is an injury that stems 20 years. 20 years of taking bumps on the back and chair shots and going through tables and all this other bullshit. This is not an injury that just happens. This is an injury that occurs over time. And that's exactly what happened with Randy Orton. And Randy Orton, unfortunately, he is paying the price for it 20 years down the line. The only thing that I can hope for right now is that Randy Orton is going to come back healthier than ever. But if you're asking me, the fact that there were never plans for the titles to be unified just goes to show you one of the main problems with WWE. There is no reason to have two separate sets of tag team titles anymore. In 2016 there was, in 2017 there was, but they did not fully embrace the brand split. They did not fully embrace the concept of, hey, let's have two separate tag team divisions and make them as competitive as possible. They didn't embrace it. And that right there hurt the brand split overall, and it rendered the brand split ultimately useless in the end. There's no reason for a brand split anymore. There's no reason to have two sets of tag team titles and two world titles. We need one world title and one set of tag team titles. The only titles that should remain separate are the Raw and the SmackDown women's titles, similar to what AEW does with the women's title and the TBS championship. We do not need women's tag team titles. We need to get rid of them, and we need to stick with the two women's singles titles and give everyone an equal opportunity, an even playing field. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen with fucking Charlotte Flair as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Fuck Charlotte Flair. But you get what I'm saying. I don't understand why WWE always has to avoid the obvious. They legitimately do everything, even with the new administration. I guess we can't even call it a new administration anymore because Vince McMahon is pretty much infiltrating WWE by the fucking minute. But even under Triple H, WWE constantly beats around the bush. They constantly fail to acknowledge the problem, and they do not strike it where it needs to be struck. They always dance around the issue, and they always do their best to avoid the issue. We need to get rid of the two sets of tag team titles. It needs to be one set of tag team titles, and it needs to be one world championship. We do not need Roman Reigns defending two championships separately. We do not need the Usos defending two championships separately. We need the Usos with one set of tag team titles. Roman Reigns with one world championship, not two. I don't understand why they continue to stall. I don't really understand what the big deal is. Someone needs, and if you're going to tell me the networks, I don't want to fucking hear it. The people that run WWE need to stand up to the networks, and they need to tell them, listen, the brand split ain't fucking working. We need to end the brand split, and you two are going to have to work it out. Everyone's going to appear on all these shows, and you are going to sit there and you're going to fucking like it because we're going to give you the best possible TV product, and the ratings are going to be the best it could possibly be. Now, I'm now obviously not saying it in those exact words, but you get what I'm saying. The titles need to be unified, and unified they must be. No more two titles. No more. Speaking of the networks, this was an interesting report that I found out. According to multinational finance and investment management company Morgan Stanley, who recently just did an analysis for Fox on SmackDown, they felt that Fox couldn't justify the current price tag for SmackDown. Apparently, now this was all the way back in 2019, Fox paid nearly $2 billion for SmackDown. In 2020 to 2021, that television season, Fox paid $196.7 million for the show, and they ended up with $134 million in losses. In the 2021 to 2022 season, Fox paid $208.5 million and ended up with $145 million in losses. Judging by the looks of it, SmackDown isn't doing Fox any good. However, there is no word if their contract with Fox will be renewed. Now, normally I'd be surprised about this, but in all honesty, I'm not. Because the majority of that time frame that WWE has been contracted to Fox, Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were running the show. Triple H has only been running SmackDown for the last 6 months. Can't really gauge the financial revenue on whether it's good or bad with Triple H within 6 months. Can't do that. But at the end of the fucking day, it all goes back to Vince McMahon, because Triple H, he's fighting an uphill battle, trying to rejuvenate the product and get shit back to where it needs to be, because Vince McMahon just kept on running it into the ground. But Vince McMahon, he put on a shitty product. You get a shitty product, you get shitty ratings, you get shitty revenue. Simple as that. Sometimes SmackDown wasn't even sold out. Sometimes SmackDown didn't even break a 2 million. Mere months ago, before Triple H took over, SmackDown was at a 1.8, a 1.9. Now they're over a 2. They should be getting over a 2 regardless, because of the reputation that they built. But even that is not immune to how bad the show once was with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard running it. Of course Fox overpaid. I knew they were overpaying. I fucking knew from the jump that Fox was overpaying for SmackDown. There is no way that you could justify $1.9 billion for a singular show. Now, maybe you could justify the company being worth $10 billion. That is a little bit more reasonable. The company is worth a lot, but a singular show worth $1.9 billion? I'm sorry, you can't justify that shit. Of course they overpaid for it. I knew they overpaid for it from the jump. However, there's no word on if the contract with Fox will be renewed or not. However, there's no reason to believe as of right now that it won't be renewed. I know for a fact that Vince McMahon is probably going to talk some shit out with the networks. Maybe we could end up going through another year with Fox before the company is inevitably sold off. Because the company, they're not going to be sold within the next couple weeks. This sale of WWE to whoever it may be, and reportedly Comcast is the leading bidder, which fucking sucks. God fucking forbid. God fucking forbid Comcast. They don't give one single shit about pro wrestling. God forbid fucking Comcast buys WWE. Holy fuck. That would be terrible. But at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen whatsoever. Now, this was a multinational finance and investment management company, Morgan Stanley. I am not going to sit here and say that they were wrong, because I am not a financial analyst. I'm not involved in investment or management accounting. I'm not involved in that. I'm involved in credit and collections for the job that I have. So I'm not going to bother to attempt to do their job. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And it is definitely going to be an interesting scenario to watch unfold if Fox indeed does not renew their contract with WWE. Maybe Vince McMahon knew about this. Maybe Vince knew about this and he used that as leverage to get back into the company the way that he did. Who knows? But that's what's going on with SmackDown. Apparently, they're not doing too good. Fox paid too much for it. What do you want me to say? Fox paid $1.9 billion for dog shit virtually. Vince McMahon. Actually, you know what? No, let's hold off on that. I want to talk about this first. Naomi apparently called out a report from Fightful. Fightful was apparently claiming that she is looking to re-sign with the WWE, but she did confirm that it was false. Naomi confirmed that she is not re-signing with the WWE. Now, you could take that as you will, but to me, it looks like Naomi is following the Sasha Banks route, and she's going to go and take a chance on herself. And you know what? I'm happy for her. I'm very happy for her. Because at the end of the day, regardless of whether Triple H is in charge, the women's division is still in shambles. The women's division, it's going to take years to repair the damage that Vince McMahon did to that women's division, especially after Ronda Rousey pretty much worked her ass off, gave her life to make that division credible, to make women's wrestling a real, true, genuine sport that people took seriously. They took women's wrestling seriously. The women were outshining the men when Ronda Rousey was there the first time around. The first time around, Ronda Rousey helped make that division something. She helped make that division something. And then what did WWE do right after she left? Becky Lynch feuded with Lacey Evans for 3 months. That's women's wrestling. That's women's evolution. You have Sergeant Slaughter calling out how terrible Lacey Evans really is. I mean, holy fuck. Holy fuck. Naomi, in many regards, could be considered better than some of the horsewomen. I take her over Charlotte and Becky Lynch any day of the week. But at the end of the day, Vince McMahon saw her as nothing more than a glorified enhancement talent. She is just another one of these great professional wrestlers, like an Athena, like a Tegan Knox, like a Dakota Kai, like a Ruby Soho. They all fell by the wayside because they were not what Vince McMahon wanted. Vince wanted to push Charlotte. Vince wanted to push Becky Lynch. Vince wanted to push Ronda. They failed because they were not people that Vince McMahon particularly liked. Vince doesn't like anybody. Vince doesn't like anybody outside of an Austin Theory or a Roman Reigns or the Usos or a John Cena or a Charlotte Flair or a Becky Lynch or a Ronda Rousey. That's it. Vince doesn't like anyone else. Naomi leaving and not re-signing with the WWE, that is a great thing. That is a great thing to hear because Naomi, she is great, and I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it that there's a sleeping giant in Naomi that is yet to be awoken. Now she could go back to WWE, she'd be just fine because she's married to Jimmy Uso. And if you piss off the Usos, then you're going to piss off Roman, you're going to piss off Dwayne. Vince wouldn't do that. Vince wouldn't do that. But Naomi leaving and taking a chance on herself, this is going to be an entirely different ballgame. And I honestly do believe we're going to see a rejuvenated Naomi. We're going to see a new Naomi. And if I'm TK, you know what I'm doing? I am signing Naomi and I am having her on the Ring of Honor brand. And I am having her go up against the likes of Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Martinez and Athena. That's what I'm doing. Because Naomi is a great professional wrestler. Really, she is. So I am going with Naomi to potentially go to Ring of Honor under TK's watch. Because Naomi, she's got a lot of value to give. And she's in the prime of her career right now. She's in the prime of her career. Now we can talk about Vince McMahon. I got a shit ton of reports. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer talked about Vince McMahon's WWE return. And there is a feeling that Vince could return to television soon. Ringside News also reported that Vince is currently back at the offices in Stamford, and he brought back Brad Blum, who was let go a month and a half ago, and he is now the chief of staff for Vince McMahon, or he was the chief of staff. I'm not sure what his role is now, but he brought back yet another schlong sucker of Vince McMahon. That's pretty much what Brad Blum is. Brad Blum and George Barrios, Michelle Wilson, and all these other individuals, they are nothing more than individuals that are part of the team that tickles Vince McMahon's 77-year-old genitals. That's what they are. They are bootlickers. They're bootlickers. They're cowards. They cower in fear, and they do everything that Vince McMahon says. And if Vince says, suck my left nut, they suck his left nut. If he says, no, George Barrios, you suck my right testicle, he will suck his right testicle. That's pretty much all they are. That's what Brad Blum is. Brad Blum is another man that tickles Vince McMahon's nutsack. That's it. Now, Vince returning to television. If you're asking me, I would not be surprised in the slightest if Vince returns to television. And you know why? Because this is the same exact man who just a mere month and a half before he retired, a month and a half, 2 months before that man was forced to step down, Vince McMahon was coming out every other week on WWE TV. Every other week he was coming out on WWE TV, and he made an appearance. He said all but two sentences. He appeared on TV for a mere 2 minutes, and then, according to the reports, he went to the back and screamed, "Fuck him! Fuck him!" Pretty much taking a shot at all of the individuals that were coming out with all of these sexual misconduct allegations against him. So if he did that, what makes you think that Vince would not return to WWE TV? Now, returning to TV, I don't know what specifically they mean by that. I'm not sure if they mean in front of the camera. I'm not sure if they mean backstage. I don't know. If you're asking me, I would be scared. I would legitimately be scared, because if Vince McMahon is back at TV, that can only mean that Vince is just gaining more and more power by the minute. Again, this man came out in the midst of the allegations 4 weeks before he retired, and he came out, said all but two sentences just to get himself on TV, screamed, "Fuck him," according to the reports, when he went back, pretty much giving a big old birdie to all the individuals, the Wall Street Journal, and all these women and individuals that were coming out with sexual misconduct allegations against him. If you don't think Vince McMahon would gladly put himself back on TV just to feed his own ego, you got another thing coming. The man gives no fucks. He will do whatever he wants, when he wants, if it feeds his ego, and if it boosts his confidence tenfold. He doesn't care. It's a sad, sad scenario. It really is. Now, moving on with the Vince McMahon reports, according to a report from NoDQ.com, now NoDQ.com sucks. NoDQ.com fucking sucks, but, they came out with this report. This came out after a revelation of an SEC file noting that Vince will no longer need stockholder approval for his actions in the company as he attempts to oversee a sale. So what he essentially did was he pretty much eliminated another way for anyone to try and get him out. He's trying to cut off all possible bridges for anyone to cross over and infiltrate him. What he's trying to do, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G bridges. However many bridges, bridge A, bridge B, bridge C, bridge D, bridge E, bridge F. He's trying to set each bridge ablaze, preventing any individuals that attempt to infiltrate his island. Any individuals that attempt to infiltrate his island that could potentially overthrow him and get him out again. He thought this out. This was an elaborate plan from the jump. He was sitting, plotting, and planning this shit out. When we were watching Death Before Dishonor on July 23rd, 2022, when we were watching that Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Vince was in his $7 billion mansion with his pen and his paper and Jerry McDivitt planning this shit out, writing this shit out in notebook after notebook after notebook until he saw a foolproof plan to get himself back in power and make sure that no one would be able to take him down. No one would be able to take him down. And that's exactly what he essentially did right here. And if you're not afraid of Vince inevitably coming back to TV and inevitably regaining creative control, motherfucker, you should be very, very afraid. Continuing on with this, it was also worth noting that Detroit's police and fire retirement system, one of the shareholders for WWE, they have sued Vince McMahon. So this is the second lawsuit, the second notable lawsuit that came in within the last week. They sued Vince McMahon, seeking a declaration that would effectively block him from regaining control of WWE's board of directors and prevent him from doing the sale. Now, we also still have the government investigation pending, but if anything, Vince McMahon is essentially covering his tracks. Matter of fact, if you want to talk about covering your tracks, Wall Street Journal, they just reported a few days ago that Vince McMahon agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement with a former referee who said he raped her in 1986. If Vince is doing all of this shit, he's covering his tracks with money, he's covering his tracks with legalities, Vince McMahon is on a fucking mission. You're telling me, again, if he agreed to this multi-million-dollar settlement with the former referee, you're telling me that that was not part of his plan? Of course it was. He didn't want to do that, but he understood the means to an end. This is all part of the means for him to regain everything that he lost. No fucking wonder why Stephanie got the fuck out of there. She does not even want to acknowledge the fact that he is her father. She doesn't. It is all a joke. It is all a fucking joke. It really is. The man legitimately doesn't care. The man thinks he is the Lord Almighty himself. Again, I can't even tell you how much shit he got away with. Specifically, the Jimmy Snuka incident, the Owen Hart situation, and the Chris Benoit shit, the steroid trials. How many other things that haven't even reached the public eye yet? How many other things that haven't even reached the public eye yet? But yet there are people that are still living in this fucking fantasy bubble. Oh, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Vince ain't not come back. Vince ain't come back. Nah, Triple H doing great. Nah, you don't have to worry. Don't look the shadow company. Wake up, you retards! Wake up! Shit is gonna get worse before it gets better. Shit is gonna get worse before it gets better. And with all of this new material coming out, I don't even want to think about what's gonna come out next week. Literally, I'm three LFUs into 2023, and all I've been fucking reporting about, I've had like at least 4 to 5 reports a week about Vince McMahon for my shows. Cannot even tell you how insane it is, and not in a good way. I don't even want to think about what is to come in the next week. I don't even want to think about what's going to come by the Royal Rumble next Saturday. Shit's just going to keep on getting worse and worse and worse. And I feel bad. I really do feel bad for everyone in that company, especially Triple H. I really do. That man will not stop. That man will not stop. Unless that man is in a straitjacket, a prison cell, or a grave, we are doomed. We are fucked. We are about to get fucked in the ass. Badly. I'm going to keep you guys updated on everything, but again, if you are not with the fucking program, you better get with the fucking program. Vince McMahon, figuratively speaking, is going to fuck us all. He's going to fuck us all. We're done. It's done. It's over. That company is finished. The company's finished. And if that company gets sold and they go private again, shit is going to be even worse with Vince McMahon still in charge. And even if Vince ain't in charge, you know for a fact that if they sell to a Comcast, you know for a fact that Comcast is going to institute their flavor into WWE, and they're going to ruin Triple H's vision. That's pretty much what's going on with the news, rumors, and reports. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. We are going to get into the first of 2 show reviews. Once again, I did not cover SmackDown because I was at ISPW Winter Warfare last night. That vlog should be up on Tuesday. And of course, I covered Dynamite with Earl Cole. If you want to go and check that out, please go and check that out. Link is in the description. But for now, let us get into the Monday Night Raw review. This week was decent. It wasn't horrible. I'd like to hope that even though the company is kind of going into a lull period with Vince McMahon coming back, I'd like to hope that Raw 30 is really going to take it up a notch. Raw 30 looks great. Raw 30 looks great. And the Royal Rumble is shaping up to be a decent show. I don't know if we're going to see Edge next week, but reportedly, Edge and Finn Balor is confirmed for the Royal Rumble inside Hell in a Cell. Could happen. We'll have to wait and see. But Raw this week was not terrible. Minus Omos, and minus the shitty crowd in Cincinnati. I know I have a friend in Cincinnati. Her name is Taylor Marie, who recently just had her second child a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to Taylor and shout out to her family over in Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations on the birth of her second child, and I hope that everything's going well with your family. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well. Raw wasn't bad. Raw wasn't bad. So the Bloodline kicked off the show with Jay, Jimmy, and Solo. No Sammy. Jimmy said that SmackDown and Raw every single week, they addressed their attack on Friday and how Owens will learn one last lesson from the Tribal Chief. Jimmy said every member of the Bloodline will be at Raw 30 to acknowledge the Tribal Chief. I'm not sure if that means The Rock, but we're going to have to keep a close eye there. Judgment Day came out. Rhea Ripley said the Judgment Day runs Monday Night Raw. Balor said that they're going to be running straight for the Bloodline. Balor then thanked Dom for stepping up last week. Priest promised to bring the tag team titles back to Monday nights. Dominic then said, let me ask you a question. Why haven't you stepped to the Judgment Day? Dom said, oh, you smell that? That smells like fear. Jimmy and Jay then ran down their accomplishments, and they started, they said that they started their tag team title reign by beating Dom and Ray. Next week, welcome to the Uso Penitentiary. Dominic then called Solo a wannabe essay because he stands around doing nothing. Rhea then got in Solo's face, which was great. So the Bloodline and the Judgment Day, they got into a brawl while Rhea stared down Solo. Ali then came out of nowhere to take out Solo, and we go into a match between Ali and Solo. Now, this segment was actually pretty decent. I actually like the fact that they did a little setup segment for next week's tag team title match. I think next week's tag team title match is going to be a very good show, and it's going to be a nice showcase for both the Judgment Day and for the Usos. I'm not sure if the Judgment Day is going to win. Personally, I wouldn't have them win, but we'll see. Maybe they do win. You know what? Maybe they do win. Maybe the Judgment Day wins. Maybe they want to give the Judgment Day something to do. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Mustafa Ali and Solo Sikoa. We got a decent little match right here between these two. So Ali was being worked over. Solo hit a very nice Samoan. I like Solo's Samoan drop. Solo's Samoan drop is very nice. Ali tried to use his speed. We had a super kick by Ali. Solo then with a right hand and a big lariat turning Ali inside out. Ali then dodged a hip attack. Ali was then sent into the post and then to the floor. The Bloodline came to ringside before Kevin Owens then came out. He went after the Usos. We got a big brawl. Ali then came in with a beautiful tornado DDT for a damn close near fall on Solo. Ali missed a 450. Solo was able to hit the Samoan spike, and Solo wins. Decent little match there. Solo continues to be probably the second best act in the Bloodline. Afterwards, Kevin Owens came out, hit a stunner on Solo. He sent Solo into the steps. He tore apart the table. Solo was placed on the table before the Usos came out to help. It was all over the place, all-out chaos, and security came out to take Owens away. Owens stood on the table as the Bloodline retreated. So, again, nothing more than making the Bloodline look strong as per usual, and Kevin Owens setting up what is to come at the Royal Rumble between himself and Roman Reigns, which should be a fantastic match. We had another video package highlighting Cody Rhodes and his physical therapy. At the Royal Rumble, he said that he is back. No excuses. Cody Rhodes is your Royal Rumble winner. I do not want to hear anything. Cody is your Royal Rumble winner. We had the Street Profits. Street Profits took on Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. For 9 minutes, This was actually a very good tag team match. So Benjamin came out of the gate with a boot. Enziguri and a German suplex on Dawkins. Dawkins then tagged in. Dawkins tagged in Ford, and Ford hit a crossbody and a big lariat to Cedric. Cedric and Ford were on the apron. Cedric with an STO on the apron to Montez Ford. MVP then came out to watch the match. Coming back from commercial, Ford tagged in Dawkins. He came in with his usual offense, leaping back elbow, the stinger splash, and tagged to Ford. Spine buster and a cash out. Frog splash. Cedric then saved the match. Shelton with a toss to Montez over the top. Dawkins saved it. Enziguri by Ford. Ford with a plancha on Shelton. Tope Suicida by Cedric. Tope Con Hero by Dawkins onto the pile. MVP caused the distraction and inevitably cost Cedric and Shelton. Dawkins reversed it into the win, and Dawkins got the pinfall victory. Not sure what this means. I'm not sure if they're trying to build tension between the former Hurt Business companions, but that's what's going on with them as of right now. Street Profits get a win in what was a very good tag team match for the 9 minutes that it went. Becky came out. She came out through the crowd, high-fiving some people. She said she came to take care of business. She called out Damage Control. Bayley was booed heavily. She was wearing a 49ers jersey in Cincinnati, so of course she was going to get booed. Becky called her a entitled moaning idiot with a crappy haircut, which she's actually correct. Bayley's haircut is not good. So Bayley called Becky bitter, and then Becky then said Bayley peaked in 2015, so I guess that was a shot at Sasha. Bayley said that she ran NXT and you ran off. Becky said, are you trying to recreate something that you once had with the Four Horsewomen? Bayley then said, everything you should have had should have been mine. Becky then said, you wanted to help the future, or are you full of crap like I said you were? I wasn't supposed to be the man, but I did because I love it. And I will keep working for this until I can't do it anymore. But when it's not about you, when you are not a focal point, you whine and blame everyone else, said Becky Lynch. Bayley then got visibly angry. Bayley said, you only became the man because you got punched in the face by another woman. Becky then said, well, maybe I should punch you in the face. Becky then challenged Bayley to a steel cage match, and we got ourselves a steel cage match for next week on Raw 30, and I'm actually looking forward to that. And out of all the weeks that we've gotten this Bayley versus Becky promo, this was probably the best promo that we've gotten between the two. They brought back a lot of past stuff. The fact that Becky said Bayley peaked in 2015, and the fact that Bayley said you only became the man because Nia Jax broke your face. I actually didn't mind this back and forth between the two. This was actually a lot better than what we have been getting, so I'm actually going to say that this was actually an up for the show. This was actually a positive for the show. I don't know who's going to win the steel cage. I'm probably going to go with Becky. But I don't know where Bayley goes from here. Because Damage Control, they've actually been pretty decent coming out of the War Games match, which the War Games match, they lost again. They're virtually jobbers, but they've been actually booked like a legit threat, but I'm not really sure how much longer it's going to take before Bayley and Io and Dakota go their separate ways. If anything, I would bring back the babyface Bayley. I honestly think that Bayley she's surpassed her time as a heel. There's really no reason to keep her around as a heel. It feels very forced. Feels very lifeless to keep Bayley around as a heel. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Elias, I actually don't mind Elias on TV as long as he is wrestling in decent matches, but this was anything but a decent match. He took on the Nigerian Giant. Don't know why MVP is still parading around with Omos. I don't really understand why we still have don't understand why he's still on television. Maybe Vince really is back in creative because we got Omos won this match. He smashed Elias's guitar and Omos with the Kali bomb, and he's in the Royal Rumble. Omos is in the Royal Rumble. God help us all. What a fucking waste of a spot. What a waste of a spot. Oh, in the Royal Rumble! Judgment Day. Judgment Day and the Alpha Academy. Now, personally, this was one of my favorite things of the show. I don't know why, I don't know how, but Otis has been getting some decent reactions as of lately. I don't know about you, but the Alpha Academy, they seem to be itching towards that babyface column. They seem to be itching towards the babyface realm. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if people just all of a sudden started appreciating Otis and the work that he does, but you know something? If I'm going to be quite honest with you, I would not mind if the Alpha Academy decide to go babyface. I would not mind if they decide to go. I think that would be a very good idea. I think that they could have a very solid run as babyfaces. And they could still do the same gimmick. Chad Gable can still do his thank you and shoosh, please. He can still do that. And Otis can still do the caterpillar. They could legitimately operate as babyfaces with this gimmick. I don't know why Otis is getting the reactions that he's getting, but you know what? I am not going to sit here and complain because I think they're fantastic. They're fantastic. And this was a very good match. So you know what? If you want to experiment with them as babyfaces, I'd say go for it. Chad Gable, they could do the same thing. They did the same thing with the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed initially started out as heels. They became babyfaces. So you know what? If they want to do Alpha Academy as babyfaces, I think that the Alpha Academy could be WWE's version of the Acclaimed. I actually think that they could be a breakout tag team in 2023 and potentially better than they were last year. I would love to see what the Alpha Academy could do as babyfaces. And you got some decent teams. I can imagine Chad Gable cutting a promo on the Viking Raiders, calling them fucking Neanderthals and shit. I see gold, which I would love to see a babyface Chad Gable versus a heel Seth Rollins. I think that would be great with Chad Gable's new Master Gable gimmick and him going up against a Seth Rollins or cutting a promo on an Austin Theory. That would be great. And this was a very good match. So Gable came in with a dragon screw. He tagged in Otis, tagged back to Gable. Priest then sent Gable to the floor. Coming back from commercial, Gable was isolated. The crowd was chanting for Otis. Priest then with a broken arrow to Gable for a 2. Tag to Dominic. Dominic was shoved to the floor. Flying headbutt by Gable, which is a great move as always. I love that move by Gable. Tag to Otis. Otis got a nice reaction. He lit up Priest. World's Strongest Slam on Priest for a 2. Tag to Dom. Otis didn't see it. Otis hit the caterpillar. Sloppy looking caterpillar, but he got it. Dom then took out Gable. Priest then with South of Heaven from the top. German suplex by Chad Gable on Priest. Dom was locked in an ankle lock, but Rhea caused a distraction, allowing Priest to hit the South of Heaven, and Dom covered Master Gable for the win. And the Alpha Academy, once again, showing you why they are a very good tag team. And you know what? Again, if they want to experiment with it, I would love to see the Alpha Academy as babyfaces. I think that'd be great. I'll tell you what wasn't great. We got nothing more than a 4-minute match with Io Sky and Mia Yim. Not that these two are bad, but I mean, you can't get invested in a 4-minute fucking match. We're pretty much going backwards. Why do we have a 4-minute fucking match with two women that could go 30 minutes if you want them to? Stupid. But Yim ended up winning this call with the Eat defeat, and that was pretty much that. Kai attacked before LeRae came out to help, so I'm guessing we're probably going to get Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, another makeshift women's tag team, versus Damage Control for the tag team titles. We'll have to wait and see. Bianca Belair, she came out to address the crowd. She said that she missed everyone. She said that even with the scar on her face, she would face Bliss again. Bliss came out. She said that she'll repeat herself. You fear me because you don't know what to expect from me. Bianca then offered a match with Bliss at the Rumble. Bliss then asked what the catch was. Bianca said, choice is yours. Bliss accepted. We get a brawl. We brawl into the crowd. All of a sudden, in one of the tunnelways, in one of the exits, we see Uncle Howdy and this blinding light coming from the entranceway, this little tunnelway. Bianca made eye contact with Uncle Howdy until Bliss reversed into a DDT to Bianca on the floor. That's pretty much that. I'm not looking forward to this match. This is merely nothing more than a means to get Bianca through the Rumble. God help us if Bliss wins, but I don't expect it to win. Akira Tozawa versus Bronson Reed. This was fun. This was fucking fun here. I like this shit. This is really fun. Tozawa, I like what they're doing. I like that Tozawa is on TV. I like that Tozawa is wrestling. Tozawa and Bronson, this was very fun for the 4 minutes that it went. So Tozawa, he came in with a tornado kick to Reed and a Hurricane Rana. He had a suicide dive. He then went for a cannonball off the apron, but Bronson Reed caught him in a barricade bomb. Bronson Reed, then with a flying shoulder tackle off of the apron, Tozawa was turned inside out. Back in the ring, Reed with the tsunami splash, and Bronson Reed gets the win. This was actually very fun. Seeing Bronson Reed just ragdoll Tozawa all around the ringside. We need more of that shit. More Bronson Reed just beating the shit out of people is good for me. Number one contenders, six-pack challenge, Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, and Baron Corbin. I'm not going to go over everything, but I will say that it was a very fun match. So, Miz was eliminated first by Rollins with a stomp. Then, out went Ziggler. Finn Balor then went out next. Corbin got taken out with a spear by Lashley. And Lashley ended up winning this match thanks to an interference by Omos. Yes, Omos came out with MVP, and Omos ended up helping Bobby Lashley get the win. Spear to Rollins after Rollins took out Omos with a stomp. Spear by Lashley, and Lashley ends up getting the win. Lashley is going to Raw 30 to fight Austin Theory for the United States Championship. Not really sure what to expect from this, but one thing is for sure. Listen, if you're going to do a Hurt Business reunion, fine, but do not include Omos. If we're going to be looking at Omos being included in the Hurt Business, that's just going to turn people off. Just give us Lashley, MVP, Cedric, and Shelton. Simple. Simple. That was Monday Night Raw. Hope you guys are having a good time. We're going to wrap up with Rampage, and then we're going to get on out of here. Rampage. Got some damn good wrestling on Rampage. Rampage, I'm enjoying some Rampage. Rampage is looking to be a pretty solid show going forth into 2023. We got some decent wrestling on the show. We had Ethan Page and Jungle Boy Jack Perry kicking off the show. Action started right out of the gate. Jungle Boy with a tope suicida on Ethan Page. Jungle Boy was in control early on. We had Jack Perry trying to mount a comeback, but he was set into the post. Coming back from commercial, Perry came in with a nice rebound lariat. Page came back with a back body drop, and then this was a nice move by Page here. Page had both of Jungle Boy's wrists, and he pulled Jungle Boy by the wrists from the ground into a power slam, which looked very fluid. That got a 2. Perry then with the 10 punches in the corner. Page then with a twist of fate, but Perry got his foot on the rope. Hook then came out to even the odds against Page and his posse. Paige then grabbed Matt Hardy's ponytail to aid him, but Matt slapped him away because he thought it was Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy then rolled up Paige for the win, and Jungle Boy gets another win, as he should be doing. He should be winning matches, which he is. Stokely then got on the microphone, and he called Matt Hardy an idiot, and I enjoy me some Stokely Hathaway on the mic. Paige then challenged Jungle Hook to a match on Dynamite. It is him and Matt Hardy versus Jungle Hook. So I don't mind that. I think that should be pretty fun. And Jungle Boy is on TV winning matches. You will not hear a complaint out of me when Jungle Boy is on television. I love me some Jack Berry. Next week on Dynamite, we got a huge show. We got a great show next week for Dynamite. Obviously, we got the tag team match. We got Darby Allin and Buddy Matthews for the TNT title. Holy shit. Is that going to be a banger, or is that going to be a fucking banger? We also got Bryan Danielson and Brian Cage. We got a triple threat match. It is Ruby Soho, Britt Baker, and Toni Storm. And then we got us a tag team match between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks and Action Andretti. So next week, looking like a decent show. Tony Schiavone, he had an interview with Ortiz. Ortiz talked about Eddie Kingston and how Eddie fed into the mind games of the House of Black. I shouldn't be talking to you, Schiavone. With all due respect, I should be talking to Eddie. So Eddie came out with a chair. He was obviously pissed. Ortiz started showing a little teeth. Ortiz actually got a little snappy. Ortiz went, "Why didn't you let me in the match last week? You know what? It don't matter. We've had our fights in the past, but now you're going to go hit a woman? Is that how your mother raised you? Is that how your father raised you? You know what bothers me? What would Homicide say? You know what he would say? He would call you a coward. He would call you a fake tough guy." Kingston obviously had enough. He hit Ortiz with the chair and just stormed off in anger. Now, I'm not really sure where this is going, but it seems rather interesting. I'm not sure if this is going to be a heel turn for Eddie. I'm not sure if this is going to be a scenario where Eddie is trying to get his emotions and his inner demons in check. Maybe that could be it. One thing is for sure, though. Here's one thing I want to let it be known. I do not want them to pass up on a Malachi Black and Eddie Kingston match. I want to see Malachi Black and Eddie Kingston in a one-on-one match. We need that match, and I want to see it. I'll tell you what else I want to see more of. I want to see more of Willie Mack. I want to see more of Willie Mack, and I want to see more of Brian Cage. They had a very fun match. This is a very fun match here on Rampage. Willie Mack and Brian Cage, probably the highlight of the show for me personally. So Brian Cage, he traded holds and leapfrogs with Willie Mack. We had a flying arm drag. Cage then took over with a Claymore kick. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. Cage then with a nice German suplex. Cage with a punt kick. On the apron, Cage then with a Uranagi to Willie Mack on the apron. Coming out from commercial, Mack with a flying enziguri. Mack with a spinning back elbow, pop-up forearm, and a sky high for a 2. Cage, super kick, and an F5. Mack kicked out. Cage then with a power bomb, a stiff knee, and he hit the drill claw. 1, 2, 3, and Willie Mack falls to Brian Cage, but this was a win for Willie Mack, and if I'm TK, I am signing Willie Mack, and I am getting him on Ring of Honor TV because, let me tell you something, Willie Mack, the bangers that he could have on Ring of Honor with Claudio Garcia, Bandito, and Roosh, and Yuta. Give me all that shit. Samoa Joe. Jay Cargill and Layla Gray, they took on Jordan and Jada Vanity. Pretty simple. Jade wins this match with the Jaded. Short and sweet. And then in the main event, we got Daniel Garcia and Action Andretti. This is actually a very good match. Action Andretti, he can hold his own in the ring. So Garcia went right after Andretti. He was wearing the tight pants that Sammy got him. Handspring back elbow by Andretti. Nice head scissor takedown. Big tope suicida by Andretti on Garcia. Garcia then took over with a lariat. Coming back from commercial, Garcia was not happy with Andretti. He was Staying in it was Andretti. The kid was staying in it. Andretti then mounted a comeback with a neckbreaker combination, a Arabian moonsault to the floor, split-legged moonsault for a 2 in the ring, RVD style. Garcia then with a rear naked choke. Andretti got out of it. Andretti with a super kick and a torture rack neckbreaker for a 2. Garcia with a palm strike, upward palm strike right to the fucking face. Pump handle Uranagi by Garcia, but Andretti kicked out. Garcia was frustrated. Andretti, corkscrew crossbody and the running shooting star. Andretti wins it. A very good match. So that is going to be a layer to keep an eye on. Andretti will inevitably cause a rift between Garcia and Jericho. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the LFU. Thank you very much for joining. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. But before we get out of here, man, tell me who runs the IWC. I want everyone in the chat, young and old, to type out who but DJ motherfucking Storms. Don't you forget it. Thank you all. I love y'all.